All right, guys, we do apologize for, or I apologize. Brett has nothing to apologize for. He didn't do anything wrong. I did not have my microphone set up properly when we first started the stream, so you could not hear me talking. Oh, that's terrible. Maybe you guys don't want to hear me. Maybe it's better. I don't know. But we fixed the problem, so hopefully you can hear me now. As I get back into things, it seems that fnatic's dropped a guy, but still maintaining control of Alpha and Bravo. That's pretty much been their go-to thus far in the round, as I was saying, but you guys were not hearing earlier. They were not aggressive on the push. They basically quickly took Alpha and Bravo and then just left Charlie to Prime Team. And at one point we did see 2Easy push up there and take it on his own with a nice triple kill there. But now they've gone back to the 2 flag hold, and right now being a little bit aggressive as they are down a man, pushing up onto the Charlie flag. We do have Storm Monster and his teammate Valitaja both taking that flag, and it's going to be a full-on domination for fnatic once again, despite the fact that they are down a man, Brett.
Yeah, well, you know, like I said before, they didn't get to where they're at right now by not being one of the better teams in Battlefield. And to be honest with you, Prime has, they got a tall order just to do anything at all in this match. Only losing 8 tickets so far within the entire round for fnatic. So, I mean, if you look at the KDs right now, it's definitely telling when it comes to that. But you know what? Hopefully Prime will be able to take some good lessons away from this, and they'll be able to build upon this. But right now, it's just not going to be possible for them to do anything against this team.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, certainly you can take a lot away from a match like this. I mean, hell, I would just be happy to get a chance to play up against these guys. You know, just say you played the best team in the world right now. Even if you do get your brains beat out. I mean, it's going to happen, but perhaps something to be learned from playing against them, some of their positions. They could obviously come back and watch this VOD afterwards and get some different perspectives that they didn't perhaps have while they were in the game. Right now we're watching from Valutaja's perspective, trying to keep them at bay. Take a look at the overhead. Still an Alpha Bravo hold, and they do get the wipe there at the backside of middle of A and B. 2 spawns towards C. It's Kratos, Prime. They're all spawning back there, and you do hear the telltale music start as the final 10 tickets are winding down. And speaking of 10 tickets, that's all that fnatic has lost thus far in this round, despite the fact that they are down a man right now.
Absolutely.
So, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you know, at this point right now, there's really no point in trying to analyze what happened. What basically happened was fnatic is just overwhelmingly the better team at the moment. Prime Team has a long ways to go if they're going to try and catch up and do some better. But I mean, hey, it's not fair. They are against the best team in the world. So I mean, it's just that being thrown against these guys, you know, this early in the tournament, it's just not right.
Yeah, I can pretty much guarantee that I wouldn't fare much better if I were in the server against those guys, so I certainly sympathize with them. We will move on to a second round, which, you know, at this point is just kind of a formality. You know, they only lost 10 tickets, so it's not going to take long for them to seal the deal and advance in this tournament.
It's basically over. So, anyways, guys, we do appreciate you coming out and watching. This is a little bit of a weird time frame that we ended up doing this, but because of Go4 yesterday, we did have to push it back onto Monday. But we are in the round 3 of the brackets right now for this tournament. Obviously, we're seeing Prime Team eSports versus fnatic. We're going to be seeing a little bit later today Assault Team versus Exertus EU. The winner of that will be going further into the bracket to face off against fnatic, and that's going to be, I believe, on Saturday that we are going to be doing that particular match. AA versus Rico's Roughnecks is going to be happening later on tonight too. Winner of that will be facing off against the winner of Bottom Frag and Vivacity Esports, which should be a really good match coming up. Nexus BF4 NA versus Meet Your Makers will be playing off. I believe that one is going to be one of the next ones. Let me look at my schedule sheet right now. As we have, so Assault Team and Exertus EU will be playing on the second channel. So if you want to go check out that one, that's going to be on Gaming Grids 2. So twitch.tv/Gaming Grids 2. And that will be going on, should be going on right now. We will be casting next AAA versus Rico Roughnecks. And then later on tonight, we will be casting the Exertus NA versus Intez match. And the Bottom Frag versus Vivacity Esports will be our last and final match for tonight. So definitely hang around. We do have some really good ones later on within the evening.
Yeah, really looking forward to that Bottom Frag Vivacity. You know, Bottom Frag arguably the second best American team in the tournament behind Exertus NA. But Vivacity is one of those up-and-comers that we haven't really seen up against one of these really upper echelon teams. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare, as they've basically been soundly defeating most of their lesser opponents. I just haven't seen them against a team of that quality yet.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just get back in the action real quick. It is, again, a formality. Essentially, they just won the match now that I've gotten into it, as Prime Team Esports does go below that magic 190 ticket number. But we will watch the match anyways, as we will wait for the next ones to start, as Brett just talked about earlier. Now, Brett, fnatic, do you think they have anyone in this tournament that can stand in their way? I mean, we've seen them win basically everything thus far. There's been teams that have come close. Some of those teams in this tournament, who's going to be the first to take these guys down, you think?
Well, I think that the team that are going to be able to take down fnatic is going to be Epsilon, in my opinion. I think that they're the only team right now that is going to be able to take down fnatic. And I mean, fnatic right now is just a very, very strong team. They are amazingly strong. They got some of the best fraggers on that particular setup right now. Valutasia, probably one of the best players in Battlefield right now, as he's shown time and time again, going plus 20 in just about every matchup that he plays against. And you know, a lot of their matchups, they're not against scrub teams. I mean, we're talking about the best of the best in the world right now. Epsilon, Meet Your Makers, UMAV, Dignitas, those guys. I mean, it's some really heavy hitters, AAA. So being able to drop 20 bombs on average in each one of your matches, that's a huge deal. And so that's definitely helping them out, having somebody like that on their team. And then, of course, just the fact that these guys have been together forever. This was the old Epsilon team from Battlefield 3, so they ended up just getting picked up and moving on over to fnatic. So having that chemistry and getting everything together to be able to go onto Battlefield 4, it's a huge deal, and they've basically been able to transition fairly seamless. Now, they did have a little bit of trouble at the beginning at getting acclimated to Domination, which is one of the weirdest setups for Battlefield. It's kind of like a
different animal. It is.
Yeah, a new game type coming in, but they definitely fixed their shit. They came into DreamHack. They ended up winning that, and ended up pushing on, and just they've been really, really beast of a team ever since then.
Yeah, I've been really impressed, even with the little bit that I've seen of fnatic. You know, I watched pretty much the entire Go 4 Cup on Sunday, and I think you are right about Epsilon being that team that could potentially beat them, because they did actually take the first round on Epsilon in that match. And I think it was only by maybe 28, 30 tickets, but fnatic came storming back in the second round to win the match. And, you know, I know Epsilon was probably a little disappointed with giving it up like that. So, you know, the chance to get back at them potentially in this tournament, I'm sure, is in the back of their minds. And really right now, fnatic is just completely dominant in this performance. We got Morte 10-2, 2 easies 8-3, Wingham 5-1. Meanwhile, we do have an Ofer on Prime Team, 0-4. I've been there before. Some of these guys are actually stepping up. We do have one even, Psychotic 5-5. So perhaps, you know, starting to get a little acclimated to playing against a team of this caliber.
Yeah, so, and I mean, if you look into the brackets, I believe that fnatic will be facing off against Exertus EU. I've been hearing in the chat, and that they are not right now showing up at the moment. So we might be seeing a definite fnatic versus Exertus EU coming up on Saturday. That should be a pretty good matchup right there. Exertus EU having a little bit of trouble. They've had quite a few roster changes. Haven't really had a solid 5 in quite some time. So that's going to be a big game for them versus fnatic. They didn't really make it that far in the Go 4 Cup. I believe they only made it to round 2. Maybe round 3, but they didn't make it very far in the Go 4 Cup before being taken down. So that should be a pretty interesting matchup to come up, see what Exertus is going to be able to do. And then, of course, I think it's going to be an Epsilon. I believe it's going to be an Epsilon fnatic finals.
Yeah, I think it is a collision course between those two titans of teams in Battlefield 4. Really excited to see that on the horizon. But, you know, we certainly don't want to count out the other teams. We've got to play the games. That's why we do play, just to perhaps see the drama of an upset. You know, at this point, as we've said, really, fnatic's just been beating everyone and winning everything. We want to see if someone can finally step up and basically claim the overthrown from them at this point. As we do see Valitaja taking out Psychotic from above, going for the two-piece. It's a nice one, taking down Kratos. Moving back into Bravo to take that flag. It's a 168 to 83 lead here. Not quite the smashing that was the first round where they only lost 10 tickets. But, you know, perhaps Fnatic taking their foot off the gas just to not be too mean about it, as we do see Upati going down by Valutaja. I don't know, Brett. How do you feel about that? If you're playing in a tournament of this caliber, do you ever want to let off the gas regardless of circumstances, or do you just want to keep staying disciplined?
At this point right now, there's no sense in Fnatic really doing much of anything. They could. Honestly, the only reason they're still in the server is just to make it official and end it. There's really no point in playing it out. I know a lot of teams are, you know, they feel like they need to play it out because they got something to show for it. But honestly, when it's done, and there's no sense in it, in my opinion. You know, I mean, like I said, a lot of people don't have that opinion. They want to play it out. There's a sense of pride that goes into it. So. To an extent, I can understand it because as a player, I did want to play it to the very, very end. But in this particular format and setup that we have, yeah. So as soon as it's done, you know, it's done.
Right. I certainly understand that. With the ticket aggregate situation, it does make for some interesting leftover time. Basically, I mean, in this case, we had basically an entire second map that was just. You know, for all intents and purposes, pointless because they had already won the match. There's really no way they were going to come back from it, but, you know, here they are playing it out. Anyways, some people have mentioned potentially going to the round-based system where it's a best of 3, but potentially shorter tickets. We did see that in, what was it, EMS, Brett? Yes, Too Easy was going for the defibrillator kill and couldn't quite get it.
No, all of the ESL EMS is going to be based on tickets. It's not going to be based on rounds. But yeah, there is talk about in some of the North American teams would like to see a round-based game because to an extent, yeah, it is more exciting because there's always a chance that a team can come back at the last second and win it. That means that, you know, if you're beating them, you know, if you've won the first map, you have to play them all the way down to the second map. You know, you can't really just play them to that magical number of whatever it was that you beat them in that first round. You have to kind of take them down the entire way and make sure you secure your victory by winning out in that second round, or we'll be going to that third. So, I mean, you know, flukes do happen. There are times when a player will drop, or you know, you'll have just a really bad set of engagements, and the other team is able to come back at the last second and win it by 1 ticket. I've seen that happen multiple times in 8s for Battlefield 3 as well as 5s, back when it was a round-based system as opposed to a ticket-based system. But I would say that just basically to find the more consistent teams, the ticket-based system is the better system.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. It perhaps doesn't create quite the drama with, you know, the round or the map-based system. And, you know, like you said, you do have a potential for flukes and stuff like that. But, you know, it's what we're going with now, and I think it does still create some exciting games. Perhaps not this one, but we will see some more tonight, I believe. As Brett, we will be moving to, what is it, the Exertus match?
No, we're going to be checking out the AAA and Rico's Roughnecks server.
AAA.
Which we are just waiting for the rest of AAA to jump in. We only have about 2 players left, so we should be getting going here pretty soon. AAA actually having a bit of a mishap in the last Go4 Cup, if you guys were watching. They actually were up against, what was it? It was MYM, I believe. And they... Was it MIM?
I think it was Meet Your Makers, and they played 4v5, right?
Their 5th did not show up.
Yeah, he fell asleep, they said.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was, but Chadman and Dogbert were both casting that, I believe, and yes. I think it was. I think one of their players fell asleep, and they didn't have a 6 to fill out, and that was really bad because honestly, they were hanging in there in that first round. About halfway through it, they were really holding their own, and I believe if they had a 5th. They would have had a really good chance of taking that match. Now they would have had to go up against, I believe it was it Fnatic the next match, I believe?
Yeah, I think so.